Good evening from Austin, Texas. We're at Troublemaker Studios with Robert Rodriguez to talk about his new project, Predators.
Oh, through the first movie. I remember seeing the first movie with my older brother, Cecilio, when we were in San Antonio. He was a bodybuilder, my older brother, and so we saw any Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that came out. So we went to see Predator. And I remember liking it so much that I did that sort of thing later in my own movies, where you would take a couple of different genres and mix them together. I did that in Dust Till Dawn and Planet Terror and several movies where I just take 2 or 3 or 4 completely different genres, mash them together. Since this was sort of a command, Predator was a sort of a commando movie mixed with a sci-fi movie. I thought that worked very, very well and was very effective. Back in '95, I was asked to write a script for another Predator movie by Fox. I had some time before I shot Desperado, and there was an open writing assignment. It was just for writing, it wasn't for directing, because I was then going to go on and direct Desperado. So I was a big fan of Predator, and took on the writing assignment and came up with this. Since I didn't have to direct it, I could make it as crazy as I wanted and set it on another planet, and had a bunch of predators running around, and called it Predators, and it was no regard to budget. I just did whatever I wanted, and then turned it in, and went away, did my own movies, and kind of forgot about it. They went on to make Alien vs. Predator movies, and it wasn't until last year that I even got this project back again. Fox brought it back to me and asked if I would be involved in either directing it or producing it here at my studio, because they wanted to revitalize the series and use my script as a basis for. They liked the idea of it and wanted to use that as a basis of it. So being a fan of Predator and always liking some of the things that were in my script, I went ahead and took it on as a producer. I couldn't direct it at the time because I was directing something else, and they needed it for this summer, but I took on as a producer. Nimrod is a director that I've always admired. I saw his first film, Control, and I could tell he was a director from the opening shot of that. He's very resourceful. I met him, and I got along really terrific with him. I needed to find a director because I was busy doing another project. I couldn't direct this movie in time for the summer release that we're going to have, but I still wanted to be involved, and if I wasn't involved, it was going to go to somebody else completely. So rather than do that, let it slip away again like it did 15 years ago, I went ahead and found a director so I could make it here. And Nimrod was the right choice. I saw Armored and saw how he was able to work with a group of actors really closely, and I knew my crew would work great with him. We just got along great, and he seemed very creative, very focused, and had a really great approach to the story. He wanted to make it really back about the hunt, and that was his focus. We were very careful going through, my director and I, the script. We had jokes that were in there that made sure they were always character-based, and if it came from the story naturally and from the characters and it came at the right time, then we would use it. But mostly we were going for a much more intense experience. So it's used sparingly when it's needed, but mostly, yeah, we weren't. Sequels tend to get goofier and funnier and jokier as they go on, as your confidence wanes. So we're really treating this like a first movie, so that it has a more solid feel. It is very different for me. I was looking forward to trying. I like different creative challenges. This was a more collaborative effort because I didn't invent the Predators. Sometimes in my own movies, when I've come up with the characters and come up with the story, I end up doing a lot of the jobs myself to keep the costs down, and also because I tend to be writing. Sometimes I'm already writing the score while I'm writing the script, and you've kind of already planned the set design and the photography before you do everything sort of non-linear. in a movie like this is different. It wasn't my original concept, so I could actually come at it as a fan and supporter of the movie and help assemble the best team to see it come to life in my backyard. So it was very different in that way, but very exciting nonetheless. I'd love to do more producing and mentor other filmmakers to come in and do work here at the studio and have a lot of creative fun. The character is just very classic. The Predator itself is a very classic character. The approach we took was just to make it not feel like it was, I don't even know, what is this, number 5 in a series, but, the first one, where it's played more serious, it's played scary, it's played as if the audience doesn't know about these creatures already, because the characters don't know. So if you follow the eyes of the characters, that's why we needed really good actors, so that you can really believe what they are believing. Then it becomes a surprise, and it becomes fresh, and it becomes new all over again. So that was the idea, was just to make it feel new and make it feel like the first time you experienced it. It is bloody. There is quite a bit of action and suspense, but mostly it's because it's very character driven. You feel a lot more than you would expect to in one of these films. It's what you need to. The more successful ones, you really feel for the characters. Like I think the first Alien or Cameron's Aliens or the first Predator, we wanted to evoke that feeling where you fell in love with the characters. You didn't want to see these things happen to them, and then of course terrible things happen to them. So that was the idea. Was because I originally conceived it back in the day. I had they'd already done Predator 2, and I pretended that didn't exist. I just went right to Predator 1 and made this a follow-up to Predator 1, which is why it says Predator, and then this would be Predators, almost like Alien and Aliens. So you don't have to see any of the other ones. This one has a nice through line to the first movie and a small connection to it. And you can also just see this by itself, but of course I would encourage you to see the first one. There's more than one type, there's more than one tribe, and there's more than one types of creatures too. The humans aren't the only ones being preyed upon on this planet. The predators evolve, make themselves better killers and hunters because of the prey that they do hunt. They learn from. So the predators that we do see are of a different tribe. They're just more sadistic and evil, and they won't do anything to win. Absolutely, there's certainly a code that goes with a predator clan that you know and love. There is, however, more than one tribe, and so in this movie we present a second tribe that's at odds with the one that you know, and they're not quite as nice. They're a little more, we call them berserkers. They kind of do whatever they want. So they're a little more evil. They might shoot you even if you don't have a gun. Oh, there's a bunch, because they evolve by hunting different prey. They've just evolved a lot from the last time you saw them. So they're implementing new hunting techniques and strategies and weaponry that they're very exciting to see how brutal some of these things are. I know we're just starting to do the effects now, finishing the effects, and it's exciting to see them. The things that we loved from the first movie, we keep or enhance and build from there, and then we add new things. So they'll still have shoulder mounts, they still have blades in the arms, and then, but yeah, that's just the start. That's just your starter kit. That comes with you at birth, I think, and then you build from there.